YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the, I guess this would be the 10 week out vlog. I'm not sure. I'm probably going to upload this at the end of the week, so you'll be seeing this when I'm about 10 weeks out. But as of today, I'm like 10 weeks and 5 days. Today is Monday, February 23rd, and the Saturday that just went, so that would have been the 21st, I was 11 weeks out then. So I'm not sure what I'll call this video. I guess that's really not super important, but I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that the prep vlog series is going to be making a comeback for those of you guys who were around for the first season, at least up until the point where I quit making the prep vlog series. I had kind of been making weekly vlogs where I was kind of filming a little bit out of every day from the week and then kind of compiling that at the end of the week. The videos are a little bit longer and they're a little bit more extensive than some of my usual YouTube content, but I feel like being in prep right now is a great time to kind of bring that back, just because there's always kind of a lot of things to catch on film and a lot of things to talk about when I'm in prep. So we're just kind of picking up with that today. Today is Monday. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, give or take. I have already had 3 meals. I'll probably do an updated full day of eating video sometime soon. Up until last week, I was having 5 meals per day, and then recently I've added in a 6th meal because the hunger has been kind of getting a little bit more prevalent. So I've been choosing to eat a little bit more frequently to keep that hunger at bay. So I had a shake first thing in the morning, and then I had my usual meal 1 a couple hours after that, and then I just had my usual meal 2 after that. And we're about to head out the door to do some cardio. It's been a productive morning so far. I've gotten all my check-ins done. Prep client checked in first thing this morning. I've got a client named Anthony, hopefully he's watching this video, who is 11 weeks out, 12 weeks out from last Saturday and from his first show. And the last couple of weeks, he's really been coming in pretty quickly. So it was pretty exciting and kind of a nice little confidence boost to start the day with a positive check-in from him. And then, you know, ever since then, I've been doing some miscellaneous stuff around the house. I kind of prepped some chicken and did a bunch of stuff like that, filled out my logbook for tomorrow's training session. Today is a rest day. I'm coming off of a great workout yesterday. Just started a brand new rotation of training. So, you know, I've got 4 sessions that I do. I've got A, B, C, and D. And yesterday was the beginning of a new rotation. So I did A, had an awesome workout. Yeah, I mean, everything is going really good right now. It's the start of a new week, and everything is going pretty good. So we're going to get out the door and do some cardio. I'm not sure when I'll catch up with you guys today, but I will at some point. I'm excited to get back to doing these kind of longer form vlogs. You know, as I maybe alluded to a little bit earlier, they're a little bit more time extensive and time consuming to kind of put together, but you know, that's not an excuse to not make them. Hopefully you guys like the longer videos, and hopefully it's fun to follow along with me as I kind of get deeper into prep. Okay, that was a great session of cardio. Not the most exciting words to say, but genuinely, cardio has been going great. I feel like a broken record. I've been saying that in a lot of my videos lately, but I've really been enjoying doing my cardio. I've really been enjoying coming to this Planet Fitness, especially at this like particular time of day. On my rest days, this like midday period is it's an opportunity where I can either crash for the day or I can rejuvenate myself and I can kind of get myself going. Usually waking up in the morning, having a couple cups of coffee, getting a good, you know, stim, and then getting a bunch of work done. And usually by the time, you know, let's say I've been working from like, let's say 7 a.m. Until like maybe 1:30, like 6 5-6 hours of work, by the time I usually get at this point of the day, I'm usually starting to feel pretty tired. But if I kind of have another cup of coffee, maybe another energy drink, and then I come in and I have a real good cardio session, I get a good sweat going, that is an opportunity where I kind of get like a little bit of an energy boost from that, and I get a nice little mental boost from it. I think that's the main thing that I've really been enjoying with the cardio, is how I feel after I do it. And I love doing it in the middle of the day because it kind of gives me that little bit of an energy boost, to kind of get me going, like I just said. But it's also great to do it first thing in the morning, waking up and doing that cardio in the morning, and then getting those endorphins and that feeling of just general well-being is great. So that's probably the main part that I've really been enjoying about the cardio, is how it makes me feel. Interesting thing to note about today's cardio session is that I actually progressively overloaded my cardio today. I just made it slightly more intense. So up until this point, my cardio specifics is that I've been doing 20 minutes on an elliptical at level 10, keeping my RPM at 50 or above. I'm never letting the RPMs drop below 50. And I've noticed over the course of the past couple cardio sessions that used to be a challenge, but is no longer a challenge for me. So the past couple of cardio sessions, I've kind of left the cardio thinking, I think I could maybe, make that a little bit more intense. And today I decided to kind of pull the trigger on that and get that started. So there's a couple of ways that I could have made the cardio more intense. So remember that I was doing 20 minutes at level 10. For reference, the maximum level on the elliptical is 25. So I was doing 20 minutes at level 10, and I was keeping my RPM at 50 or above. So I could have either increased the duration and kept doing level 10 with 50 RPM and done 25 minutes instead of 20. I could have kept doing 20 minutes with the 50 RPM and then increase the intensity from level 10 to something else. Or I could have kept the intensity at level 10, duration at 20 minutes, and then pedaled faster. And, let's say instead of being 50 RPM or below, be 55 or below. I didn't really want to pedal faster. I really like the pace that I've kind of been moving at. 50 RPM is a good, I feel like that's a good pace. I can kind of get in a good rhythm, and it's not too easy, but it's also not too hard. And then 20 minutes is a good duration of time. I genuinely don't think that I really need to do much more than that. I would be fine doing much more than that, like further down the line. But in particular, I really have kind of wanted to push the intensity, we'll call it, like the resistance of the elliptical. So I moved up from level 10 to level 11 today, still doing 20 minutes and still keeping the RPM at 50 or above. But I just increased the level from 10 to 11. That may not seem like a whole lot, but remember I said that the maximum resistance of the machine is 25. So let's just, kind of try and math this out. Let's say at the maximum level 25, the machine is giving me like 100% of its resistance, okay? So if I'm working at level 10, that means that I'm working at 40% of the machine's maximum intensity. 10 divided by 25 is 40% of the resistance that the machine could give me. Moving up from level 10 to level 11 increases that to 44% of the machine's intensity, which is a 10% increase from what I was doing. So that doesn't really seem like a whole lot, but if we take a look at the scenario where I'm doing the same amount of cardio, 20 minutes, but my muscles are having to work and contract a little bit harder in order to do those 20 minutes of cardio because of the increased resistance, that would theoretically cause more calories to need to get burned in order to make that happen. And as long as I can recover from that, that would be totally fine with me. The problem would be is, let's say I wake up tomorrow or something and I'm like, oh my God, my legs are so sore because of that extra level that I went up on the elliptical. Then that would maybe be some feedback that I probably overdid it. And instead of increasing the resistance, then maybe I should just stick at level 10 and just maybe do it for a little bit longer or something like that. But realistically, when you're talking about basically micro loading, the same way that I talk about in the gym, when you're talking about going from level 10 to level 11, it's just unbelievably unlikely that me doing that is going to cause significant enough of fatigue debt to where that's going to kind of put me outside of something that I can recover from. So basically getting more bang for my buck out of my cardio, basically burning more calories within the same level of time. On my rest days, I've been timing it to where my meal, that is oats and milk and fruit and whey that I blend, I've been timing that so that that comes post cardio on a rest day, because this after cardio just hits so hard. You know, you get sweating and everything with a good cardio session, and then get to come home and have this like ice cold smoothie that just tastes so good. So this has been hitting the spot right after cardio. Monday night, it's been a pretty normal night since cardio ended. I came home, I had that shake, made a couple pieces of content, posted that on the internet, took an Epsom salt bath, and then Carissa and I watched a little TV while I had meal number 5. At this point, the day's pretty much over. I've kind of crossed everything off of my to-do list for the day, and I'm about to turn all the screens and everything off and just kind of relax for the rest of the night. Big training session tomorrow. Tomorrow is full body B as in boy. That is the workout where I do pendulum squats and the banded hyper extension machine. So that's always a pretty challenging training session. So looking forward to getting a good night's sleep. Definitely going to get in bed a little earlier tonight than normal, which is a good thing. That obviously is going to have me fueled up and ready for a really good workout tomorrow. And yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously, we'll probably check in a little bit tomorrow, sometime around the training, I am sure. But today's been a good, productive rest day. It's been a good start to the week, and just kind of excited to keep this week going. What up? Happy Tuesday. It has been a really productive day so far. Got a great night of sleep last night, woke up feeling great this morning, and I had a really busy work schedule today. I had a lot of check-ins to do, and then I had some little bits and pieces of content stuff that I kind of wanted to get edited. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're headed to the gym now. And at this point, I've already got like a good 5.5, 6 hours of work done. So super productive morning, 2 meals in. As I said, headed to the gym now. We're going to do full body B, as in boy. And today is a high carb day. So I woke up at a new low body weight this morning, and starting last week I hit a new low body weight, and that also kind of aligned with the time that I wanted to test out using a high carb day, or a refeed, whatever term that you kind of want to use there. I was kind of experiencing some of the symptoms that a refeed may remedy. So it's still early enough in the prep that I kind of wanted to run a trial refeed and see how that went. And I was really happy with how I ran that last week. And I feel like I'm in the exact same scenario today to where I could benefit from one of those. So we're gonna go ahead and try that again today. A normal training day for me is 300 grams of carbs, and then today is gonna be 600 grams of carbs. So I just double my carbohydrate intake, obviously. The way that I set this up, if you guys have seen the diet break video that I made around November, it's exactly like how I set it up in there. On a training day right now, I'm having 6 meals, 5 solid food meals, and then 1 intra workout shake. And on all of those meals, right now I'm having 50 grams of carbs. So 50 carbs at each meal, 6 meals per day, that's 300 carbs. Basically what I do on a refeed day is I just double the carbs from 50 to 100 at every single one of the meals. I don't change anything else. I literally just double the carbohydrate intake. I don't linearly add 50 grams of carbs to each meal. That's how I write it out on the plan, but I kind of move the carbs around a little bit. Meal 2, which is my pre-workout meal, I like to have small meals pre-workout, the smallest meal that I can possibly have, just because I don't like a lot of food sitting in my stomach as I'm training or as I'm getting to the gym and everything. So what I do instead is I take the 50 carbs that I would normally have added to meal 2 and I add those to meal 1. So I'm actually adding 100 grams of carbs to meal 1 and then 0 carbs to meal 2, which is the pre-workout meal. So I get a really big breakfast, and then that meal, I had that meal probably like 5 hours ago now at this point. So it has like been sitting and digesting for a long time. And then I have a nice light meal, 50 carbs and some chicken before I train, that digests really quickly. And then I take the 50 carbs that I would have added to the intra workout, meal 3. I'm already doing 50 carbs intra, so 100 is just really a lot for me. So what I've been doing is I've been splitting that, and I've been adding 25 to the intra and then 25 more to the post. So technically, meal 1 gets 100 carbs, meal 2 gets nothing, and then meal 3 gets plus 25 carbs, meal 4 gets plus 75, and then meals 5 and 6 get the normal plus 50. The last time that I ran this setup on Friday, everything was great, crazy good workout. Really happy with the look afterwards, really happy with the quality of contraction. And obviously 3 days later, I was already back down to a new low. So I was really happy with the way that my body kind of responded to the first refeed. And I feel like I'm in a position right now to kind of test that again. I cannot force my body to get into a rhythm, but it would be nice if it was kind of like organically putting itself in a rhythm to where every time I hit a new low, I could refeed, and then a couple days go by and then I hit another new low and then I refeed again. And if my metabolism, I can't force this to happen, but if my metabolism and my body is responding in a way that would allow me to do something like that on a fairly consistent basis, that would be ideal. Obviously, there is the chance that I could run this refeed today and wake up tomorrow and be like, that was way too aggressive. I didn't need to do that, but I'm still 10 and a half weeks out. And if there's ever a time for me to experiment with things, it would be the further out, the better. So, I'm not necessarily scared of overdoing it today, because I can always take that, learn from that, and then know that maybe I can't refeed every time that I hit a new low. But, the only way that we're going to find out is by doing it. And the first time that I tried it out just a couple days ago, it worked out really well. So we're just going to test that theory again. I'm literally changing nothing. I'm changing none of the food sources. I'm changing none of the meal timings. I'm changing none of the meal distributions or anything like that. It's just a pure 300 grams of carb increase from the base. all of those carbs are coming from rice, except for the 25 intra obviously comes from carb powder. And then out of the 75 that I add to post, 50 of that is rice, but 25 of that is honey. So out of the 300 carbs that I add, 50 of them are not rice, 25 honey, and 25 carb powder, and then the other 250 are all white rice, cream of rice, or Rice Krispies cereal. So there's going to be no fiber that gets added to the day. There's going to be no fat that gets added to the day. So it's just pure glucose from carbohydrates that are not instantly, but very quickly and easily digested into glucose. So I talked about this on a separate video, but in my previous off season, or my previous prep season, when I would do a refeed, I would have like oatmeal, and I would add more like fibrous, like maybe like a high fiber bread, because I was hungry. But then I was getting these massive weight increases from the refeed, and some of that is obviously the glycogen, but some of that is also fiber and digestion weight and all of that stuff. And the sole reason why I'm doing the refeed is for glycogen replenishment, and the best way that I'm going to be able to get that with the least amount of water retention, digestive issues, etc., is to just use these incredibly simply digesting carbohydrate sources. So nothing fun, but refeeds aren't about fun. It's not about eating like burgers and fries. It's about just strategically eating more to fuel performance and recovery. So pulling into the gym, I'm fucking hyped for this one. Feeling pretty solid. And the last time that I did a refeed and I trained, I had a fucking ridiculous pump and the contractions were crazy. So I'm very optimistic and hopeful that will happen again today. Hello. We are back from the gym. What an amazing workout today. I'm super happy with not only the numbers of everything, but with how everything felt. Not only, was I connecting well with the muscle, but I could feel each muscle just contract so hard with every single rep that I did today. And in my post-workout posing, I could feel my muscles contracting harder than what they typically do on a normal day when I'm kind of a little bit more flat. So definitely could feel the carbs in the gym, and after the gym, I've already come home and I've had my post-workout meal, which literally lasted like 5 minutes. I just deleted that like so quick. 50 grams of carbs from cereal with whey and milk and fruit in the shake. This is what I normally have. And then remember, I added 75 grams of carbs. I added 50 grams of carbs with the base, like another 50 grams of carbs from cereal. And then the other 25 come from honey. And dude, that just 5 minutes between the bowl of cereal and then the shake, and it's gone. It's kind of hilarious how short that lasts, but really great workout. Super happy with the numbers. As usual, in a couple of hours, it's gonna hit me like holy shit. I've got the 4 workouts that I do: A, B, C, and D. B and D are the lower body dominant ones. So those are the days where I do some sort of a squatting pattern and a hinge. Today on B, I do the pendulum squat and the banded hyperextension. And then on the D workout, I do the hack squat and the stiff leg. And doing the squat and a hinge on the same day, like plus all of the other stuff around it, of course, but those 2 exercises in particular, a couple of hours after the workout, that's when it kind of hits me like, holy shit, like you pushed your body to its limit today. And tomorrow, maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. Hopefully I feel good tomorrow, but usually the day after that I have the B and the D workouts, I'm kind of in the gutter. I'm totally ruined. Those sessions just completely drain the life out of me, but numbers are still going up. So who gives a shit about how you feel if you're growing muscle from it? So we just keep moving on. Post-workout meal, I'm gonna get some steps in and then edit all the content and post it on the internet. That's the thing about being a content creator, is if you trained and you didn't film it and post it on the internet, did you even really train? So that's that is part of my job, is not just lifting, but also posting that I lifted. So we're gonna get that done, take a shower, and then by the time all of that gets done, it will be time to eat again. Steak and rice with 100 grams of rice instead of 50 grams of rice. Thank God. And then tonight's final meal gets 50 grams of cream of rice added to it. So I do love me a high day, I must admit. Okay, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. I guess this is about as good a time as ever to jump in and talk to you guys. It's been a pretty normal rest day up until this point. At this point in the day, I've had 3 meals, and I've pretty much spent the entire day at this point doing check-ins. Another busy day of check-ins and work and video editing and everything. So it's been a really productive morning. Kind of took me a little bit to get going. As I predicted, I'm very, very tired today. Just kind of like a deep, central nervous system, level of tired. I talked about that yesterday, but usually after the B and D workouts, I'm usually pretty fried. And today I am definitely fried. So I have a feeling, usually my rest days have been short days lately. Usually I'm so tired, or at least tired enough during the rest days, that I'm falling asleep or going to bed early. So basically, kind of like the itinerary, I guess, for the rest of the day is Carissa is still working for about another hour to an hour and a half. And then when she gets done with work, we are going to go to Planet Fitness and do cardio. I am kind of behind on my steps at this point in the day. So in the meantime, I'm going to get some steps on the walking pad. I can't even see my own hand because of the sun. Okay, my computer is right there. Today is Wednesday, which means that a new episode of It's Just Bodybuilding has been released, which is my personal favorite bodybuilding podcast. The Fuad's channel seems to be the most popular one in the industry, and I love Fuad's podcast. It's awesome, but I really like It's Just Bodybuilding. In particular, I really like Ron Partlow. I'm gonna listen to that while I get some steps in, and then we're gonna go get this cardio done, and then after that I'll have a shake and then another meal, and then I'll probably take an Epsom salt bath and call it a night. I'm very, very tired and back in the gym tomorrow. I woke up this morning at 183 even, which is about a pound and a half. It's 1.4 pounds. So it's a pound and a half. We're just going to round up. Gained a pound and a half from yesterday's high day, which is the exact amount of weight that I gained from the first high day that I did on Friday. Now is when I would have done that. So that is telling me that at least for now, 600 carbs is kind of giving me about a pound and a half of weight increase. So I don't want to think about that too much right now, but I think for the next high day, I think that I may try either 650 or 700 grams of carbs. Usually when I do a high day, I am aiming for or expecting to see like anywhere between like 2 to 5 pounds of body weight increase. That would kind of signify to me that the glycogen is kind of stuck a little bit longer. We will see what happens with my weight and everything as we go forward, but usually what I've kind of noticed, if I'm only getting about 1.5 pounds of increase, is I gain 1.5 pounds today, and then within a couple of days that's gone already. And I feel like the purpose of the high day is to kind of build up some glycogen, and I feel like if I only gain 1.5 pounds, I kind of burn through that glycogen within like a day or two, and within 2 days of doing the high day, I'm kind of back to where I was before I did the high day. So it's way too early to be thinking about high days when I just had one yesterday, but maybe next time we try 650 carb or 700, and just kind of see if we can get the weight increase from that, maybe to be a little bit more assertive than 1.5 pounds. Okay, cardio went pretty good. I had a shake, oatmeal and whey and fruit and milk right before we left for cardio. And then cardio was kind of like a speed cardio session tonight. Carissa is actually taking some classes through her job to kind of like further her position. So she's been taking some classes at the local community college, which is actually like right up the street from where we live. But on Wednesdays, she has to go to class. And so she got off of work like at 4, and we basically had to go to the gym and be back home by about 5 o'clock. So I basically drove to the gym, walked straight to the elliptical, got my 20 minutes in on the elliptical, and then we just kind of turned around and left from there. So speed cardio tonight, but we got that done. Came home, got some odd and end stuff done, prepped some rice, prepped my meals for tomorrow. I just had meal number 5, took the dog out for a walk, and that is the last of the things checked off the to-do list for tonight. So from here, it's all about chilling, as you can see. Gonna hang out in here for a little bit and then take an Epsom salt bath. By the time that I get out of that bath, I'm probably gonna be like falling asleep like in the bathtub, and then we'll just have the last meal of the day and then get to bed and be back at it tomorrow. We're back in the gym tomorrow. Training is going really good. Outside of the gym, I'm starting to kind of feel tired and lean, and I'm kind of, for me, the magic number is like 185. Once I get to 185 and I start trying to dip below 185 pounds, that's when I really kind of start to feel like my body is telling me like, okay, you're getting below like your set point, like body fat wise. And that's kind of when the food focus kind of starts to get a little bit higher. That's kind of when I start to notice some more like fatigue related stuff with being a little bit leaner. So being like, I was 183 this morning. I've kind of been between like 181 and 183 for the majority of the week. So kind of being in the low 180s, I'm kind of hovering into that territory where it's kind of starting to, get a little bit more difficult, like outside of the gym, and energy levels are kind of a little bit lower and stuff like that. But this is really where, how good of a bodybuilder you are really kind of starts to shine. Like, how much are you checking your boxes with all of your other recovery variables. Food is one recovery variable, but it's not your only recovery variable. We've got your hydration and how you're managing your stress and how much sleep you're getting, and making sure that you're taking health supplementation if you need it, and the list goes on and on. But these types of periods where we don't always have the calorie lever that we can pull, the high days kind of give me like a little bit of a temporary boost, but for the most part, like from here on out, the boost that the high days are going to give me is going to be like pretty short-lived. I had the high day yesterday, and today I'm feeling pretty tired. So it's kind of like those carbs kind of get burned through pretty quickly. But this is where it gets hard, and this is what it's all about. So the fact that my body is telling me like, hey, we're kind of starting to get below your set point, and we're kind of starting to get lean, it's literally it's a choice. I mean, I could see that as a negative thing, like, man, this really sucks because I'm starting to feel terrible, or I could see it as a positive. I'm getting into the getting closer to the body fat level that I need to be in order to be competitive and to be doing well. And that's obviously what this competition is all about. It's not how do I feel, it's how do I look. And I did some posing tonight, and I'm looking better. I actually did some posing in a couple different areas, my normal spot in my office, and then I kind of just tried out a different spot in the kitchen just for something a little bit different. I'm not sure how often I'll be using the kitchen spot, but I did want to test it out. If I'm going to test out new picture spots, very similar to what I had said yesterday with the high day, the earlier, the better. What's up, guys? Happy Thursday. I almost said Wednesday. That just kind of goes to show where I'm at today. Headed to the gym. We're going to do full body C. Today has been kind of a crazy day. So the highlight is that I woke up to another new low this morning. And not only was it a new low, but it was a pretty noticeable drop. I mean, my previous low before this was 181.6, and then today I was 180.4. So this is over a full pound down from my previous low, and kind of banging off what I just said a couple days ago. I've hit a new low, and I'm gonna do a high day today. It is really crazy. I had a feeling last night, and I feel like I'm very in tune, like, with my body right now at this point in prep. I had a feeling last night, like, before I went to bed, I was like, man, I think I'm gonna wake up to another new low tomorrow morning. Just with how tired I was feeling last night, and even before I went to bed, I could feel that I was lean. And I don't know, maybe some of you guys will be able to relate to this, but like this morning as well, I woke up this morning and I literally got out of bed, and I could tell immediately I was hungry, and I kind of pinched my abs a little bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a new low today. I could literally feel it. I could feel it last night. I could feel it this morning before I had even stepped on the scale. Sure enough, I step on the scale and it's a new low. So we're gonna do a high day. We've already had 2 meals. Today, I woke up feeling like actually really, really tired. I mean, exactly how you would expect to feel waking up to a new low in prep. So, kind of a rough morning, but had a big breakfast. Today's going to be another 600 carb high day. I want to do 600 carbs today. I probably could do 650 or 700, but I want to do it 3 times, and there's no significance about the number 3. But the first refeed, I gained 1.5 pounds, and it was gone in a couple days. The second refeed, I gained 1.5 pounds, and it was gone within a couple of days. And I still have that voice in my head that is kind of saying maybe the second time was a fluke. But if I do it today, if I do it for a third time and I gain 1.5 pounds tomorrow, then obviously it's not much of a fluke anymore. And I can cement the fact that I know that 600 carbs is really not enough to fill me out. So we're gonna hit 600 today, and then we'll see how the response is and go from there. I've had a bunch of fluid, great night of sleep last night, extra salt, and obviously all the extra carbs. I got an extra 25 grams of carbs intra workout, and I just think today's gonna be a good day. So I'm excited to get in the gym and kind of put things to use. I've kind of noticed on the high days that, I feel pretty tired, like almost most hours of the day, except for around the workout time. When it comes time for me to need to have the energy to be able to perform, the energy is definitely there. But the rest of the day is kind of been a little bit more like tiring and kind of feeling like I'm moving in slow motion a little bit. But I just really wasn't in the mood to film much this morning. I got all of my check-ins done today, and then in between my pre-workout meal and this driving to the gym, I went and I ran some errands. What you guys probably watched before this was some B-roll of me unloading the groceries. But yeah, I've gotten a lot done today. I just haven't really filmed much of it, and I've just kind of been focused on getting the work done and getting this little extra bit of food in so that I can get the gym and get this done. Okay, back from the gym. What can we say about today's workout? Today was kind of a frustrating day. I don't know if it was actually like a frustrating day or if I'm just frustrated about it. I don't know if that makes any sense. When you take a look at the workout on paper, it was very, very good. All of my exercises progressed except for one, which was the lat row, and that held. So numbers and everything were really good. It's just the way that the session kind of went about that was kind of frustrating to me. That it was just a busy day in the gym. There was a lot of people in the gym, so just kind of had to move the order of things around a little bit. And there was a couple instances of some equipment malfunctioning. And then I got a nosebleed in the middle of the workout, which is the second time in like a week that has happened. I've always been super prone to nosebleeds, particularly when the weather gets dry. And right now the weather is pretty dry, so it's not uncommon for me to get nosebleeds, but usually not in the gym. And this is the second time that I've had a nosebleed in the middle of a workout. After I did the incline presses, I could kind of feel with like 2 reps left in the set, I could kind of taste blood in my mouth, and I got some on my lip. What is that? Or is that just on the phone screen? No, that's on my lip. What the fuck is that? Anyways, with like 2 reps left in the set, I could kind of taste some blood in my mouth and kind of feel some blood coming out of my nose. So not good. Obviously everything is fine, but it was just kind of a mood killer in the middle of the workout. But everything is good on paper. It was just kind of a frustrating workout to get through. I got to pose with an IFBB Pro today, which was like a mixed experience. Obviously extremely grateful, but it's also really humbling. So that was kind of an eye-opener. Obviously I'm not delusional. Like, I obviously know that there's a lot of things that I need to improve and get better on, but it's different when you're actually posing with an IFBB Pro and he's actually kind of putting you through the paces of what it's like at that level. And, it's kind of an eye-opening experience. So, that I don't want to say is frustrating, but it is definitely kind of like, wake up call, humble, humility, like type of thing. Like, we've got a lot of work to do. And it's a good thing. I was feeling pretty good about the way that things have been going. And obviously I do still feel very good. It's not like it killed my confidence or anything, but it was kind of the redirection to get focused back on the goal that I probably needed. So, really tiring day. We posed, I did like damn near 40 minutes of straight posing before I even lifted. I went into the gym, and normally I pose for Ray, and this IFBB pro, his name is Justin. Justin was there, and Justin wanted to help, and so he did. And I'm just unbelievably grateful for the experience and the wisdom and everything. I'm actually going to go pose again with them tomorrow. I'm going to meet up at the gym with them at 11 o'clock tomorrow, and we're going to go through some more posing stuff. So I'm really excited about that, and obviously very honored and happy to have gotten his time this afternoon. But it's also kind of like I said, like a rewiring of how we're thinking, and just kind of, you can't feel good about yourself for too long. You got to get that humble pie, so to say. So I have already had post-workout meal. I'm going to take a shower, eat meal 5. We're going to watch some TV, and then I'll eat meal 6 and get to bed. Pretty tired, so we'll catch up when we catch up. Okay, hello. Happy Friday. Friday evening at nighttime. It's a little after 6 o'clock, as you can't tell. If I don't catch you guys up with how today has gone now, it's not gonna happen, because today has been, I feel like from the minute that I woke up to where we're at right now, has been just kind of nonstop go. And now that I'm kind of sitting down and getting some time to relax, I know that I'm going to just crash. So, as I had kind of briefly mentioned yesterday, I did some posing yesterday with IFBB Pro Justin from my gym. Yesterday we had aligned to meet today at 11 a.m. to do some more posing. So I basically woke up and I got straight to work, got straight to doing check-ins. I did not finish all my check-ins by the time that it was time for me to go to the gym. So I, just left the check-ins where they were at. I went to the gym, did a solid, I think the video footage is like 35 minutes. So we did like a solid, 35 minutes of posing, really, really hard posing. So that's 2 days in a row now that I've been put through the ringer with the posing, but I'm feeling way more confident today than what I had felt yesterday. So obviously that's a huge win. Really, really, tough, and I don't want to say brutal, but it was a tough and pretty fatiguing posing session. Came home, had more check-ins to do, finished those check-ins. Once those check-ins were done, drove to Planet Fitness, did my 20 minutes on the elliptical. And then right around the time that I came back from Planet Fitness, Carissa was getting off of work. And today was like 60 degrees. Today was like a really, really warm, nice day. So we wanted to get out of the house and kind of go on a walk at the park as soon as she got off of work. So that's basically where we just got back from that. I prepped my meals for tomorrow, did the dishes, and about to eat my second to last meal, and then I'll probably take like an Epsom salt bath. And I just know by the time I get out of that, I'm gonna be exhausted, and will probably be an early night. I've been pretty tired most of the day. Woke up this morning at 100, and I was 182 on the dot today, which is a 1.8 pound increase from yesterday's high day. So I've done 3 high days now at 600 grams of carbs. The first one I gained 1.6 pounds. The second one I gained 1.4, and then yesterday's I gained 1.8. So at this point, I've done that 3 times. I can pretty much all but guarantee the degree of body weight increase and glycogen gain that I'm going to get from 600 grams of carbs. So the next high day that I do, I will try 700 and see what happens from there. That would be it would be a double from the baseline. A normal training day for me is 350 carbs. I think 650 is going to be just a little bit too insignificant and too mild. I really just kind of want to throw 700 at it and see what happens. Again, I don't know when the next high day will be. I can't predict that, but I do know now after doing this 3 times that I'm going to try 700. Now, if 700 is too aggressive, then maybe the next one after that, I'll do 650, or I'll come back to 600. Maybe 600 is a good number. Maybe me being in the pursuit of getting more weight increase is actually to my detriment. But I think the way that I'm going to figure that out is by doing and assessing. So that will be what I will do the next time. As I've kind of alluded to a couple times in this little segment, today has been a tiring and fatiguing day. I've used a little bit more caffeine than I would use today. I think I was at about 500 milligrams today. Usually most days I'm at like between 300 or 400, but today was a 500 milligram day. But I, again, was pretty tired, so needed to get through the day. So I'm not sure if I'll actually be training tomorrow or not. I kind of want to leave that up to how I feel in the morning. Tomorrow is Saturday morning, so I will be 10 weeks out on the dot, but I have some work that I have to do in the morning. I have some clients who are in their competitive seasons. I have one client who is actually 3 weeks out. And then I have another client he's 1 week behind me. So he's 11 weeks out. So we're going to be doing some posing sessions with them tomorrow. I have some little bits and pieces of, like little client work, ends that I've got to tie up, basically little things to finish. And then after that, we'll kind of see where the day is at, and honestly, like how I'm feeling. That there's a part of me that thinks it may be a good idea with how I've been feeling lately to take tomorrow off and then just kind of use it as a day to just chill out a little bit and then get ready to get back in the gym on Sunday, because the next workout that I do is full body D, which is my hardest workout of the program. I'll be doing stiff leg deadlifts and preferably the hack squat if it's available, but just and then dips and pull-ups and a bunch of other stuff too. So that is my toughest of the 4 workouts. So if I'm not really feeling like tomorrow is going to be a super productive day, then I may take it as a day off and just kind of rest up and recover and then get ready to get after it on Sunday. But if I get a good night of sleep tonight and wake up ready to get after it tomorrow, then I'll be in the gym after I finish up my work in the morning. So just leaving the schedule kind of open-ended as of now. Feeling really good after the posing session. This is not going to come as a surprise, but when you learn how to pose properly, you look leaner and bigger. So there are a couple like moments in the video footage from today where I can see like, ooh, I'm in a good spot. So just got to keep moving along. So today's been a doozy of a day. So it's time to wrap it up and get to bed, get ready to do it all again tomorrow. Happy Saturday. It's about 10:30 in the morning on Saturday. We are 10 weeks out today officially. Headed to the gym now. We're going to do full body D. Following up from last night, obviously I am training today. Went to bed really early last night, got a great night of sleep. I probably got like almost 9 hours of sleep and only woke up one time. So I got got a great night of sleep. Woke up this morning and I actually had a little bit of work that I had to do today. This morning I did not film any of it. I had 2 posing sessions to do with 2 clients who are competing. I just talked about that yesterday, I think. So I had those posing calls. I had a couple of check-ins that I did, and then a couple of program and supplementation adjustments and stuff that I had to make. I'll be super honest with you guys. I don't particularly want to go to the gym today, but I can go to the gym. I am gonna have a great workout. I know that once I get moving, I'm gonna get warmed up and everything is gonna be really good. It's just my mind talking to me as usual. All the feedback and everything, you know, if I was a client of mine and I was relaying the feedback to myself, I would definitely be saying to this client, like, yeah, you can definitely train today. You're just tired and your mind is talking to you, and you know, that's realistically where I'm at. So you just kind of take an energy drink. I drank a Bang this morning, which is 300 milligrams of caffeine. Normally I'd have like 150 to 200 before I train. So I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily good advice to give, but to be honest, like, that is usually what I do some days when I'm like not particularly in the mood to go to the gym. I just kind of take some fucking heavy stim, and that kind of gets me going. So we're gonna do some stiff legs and some hack squats today. I know, again, once I get in the gym and once I get moving, should be a solid day, and you know, we'll be good to go from there. My body weight this morning was, honestly, I don't even remember. I think it was like 181 point something. Not much of a change from yesterday. And, you know, I was somewhat expecting to hit a new low this morning and maybe need to do another high day today, but you know, I got lucky basically having to do that a couple times in a row. It was pretty unlikely that was going to happen every single training day this week, but you know, that little part of the process is always interesting. Just kind of waking up in the morning and seeing what my weight is, and then taking a look at what I look like, and then deciding, you know, how to monitor the nutrition and everything from there. Back from the gym, you can probably tell by the crazy hair. I've actually been back from the gym for a little bit now. Very, very good workout today, as expected. Once I got moving, everything was, you know, kind of coming alive, and everything was great today. Great contractions, great numbers. Progressed the stiff leg and the hack squat and pretty much everything else. I mean, it was a really, really, really good workout. I was at the gym for a long time today. I went at just the absolute worst time. I mean, I had to go at that time today, but on Saturdays, you know, that like 11 to 1 is like the busiest time there. So the gym was super busy, and a lot of people there that I know. So I was kind of in a chatty mood today. So I was doing a lot of talking and catching up with people and stuff. So I was at the gym for a while today, and I feel like I woke up and I blinked and here we are. And it's like, I think it's like almost 5 o'clock now. So the day is unfortunately gone by pretty quick. Fortunately, it's been spent doing things that I love and that I'm passionate about, working this morning and then obviously training this afternoon. In a more exciting note, Carissa and I are going to go out for a little date night meal tonight. We are going to go to Olive Garden. We had kind of talked about this yesterday mainly, but kind of been talking about it throughout the week. I know that I'm sure I've mentioned this at some point in any of my videos before, but both Carissa and I work from home. And I feel like that's like an important thing to mention, because that's a very important part of our life dynamic and our relationship, is that we're always together and we're always in the house. And so as most people do, I guess, there isn't really anything like abnormal about this, but usually on the weekends, we kind of try to get out of the house to some degree. So we are going to go out to eat tonight. I'm still at a point where I'm eating out at restaurants if I can fit the foods into my macros, and Olive Garden can be pretty macro friendly if you order. For what I'm going to order tonight is the create your own pasta. I'm going to get the angel hair with the marinara sauce and either grilled chicken or shrimp. I'm not sure, but pretty clean. As long as I don't go crazy with the breadsticks that come out in the beginning, which I never do. I kind of have factored in that I'll have 2 of those tonight. And if I have some room in my macros, if I wanted to have a couple more, then I could fit those in. So obviously, because we had kind of talked about that previously, I knew that would be happening today. So I've pre-planned yesterday, like pre-adjusted my nutrition for my surrounding meals today to give me room to be able to go out and have that meal and fit that in my macros. And it actually kind of works out that today has been a super busy day anyways. So I haven't really had time to be hungry. And the fact that all of my meals throughout the day so far have been a little bit smaller, I literally haven't even noticed it. So we're gonna go out, get a good meal that fits the macros, allows me to keep progressing in my prep, and then get the social aspect of getting out of this damn apartment and having some fun. So really looking forward to date night tonight. I got to take a shower and get ready for that, and then I'm gonna have to check in with you guys one more time tonight before I go to bed, because I need to, I'm 10 weeks out today, and this is going to conclude the week for the vlog. So I'm going to need to wrap this up. So we'll check in a little bit later, and that will be the last time that we'll check in for this video. Back from Olive Garden and just back from a fun time. Like I said, it was nice to just kind of get out of the house. I hadn't had pasta in a while, so pasta hit the spot. I ended up getting chicken on my pasta. I think next time I'll get the shrimp. That's usually what I get when I go there, and I decided to try something different tonight, and it wasn't bad. I just think that the shrimp is a little bit better. So I'm going to take the dog out for her nightly walk, and then we're probably going to start a TV show or movie or something and going to call it a night. It's been a long day that went really fast. I feel like I just woke up like 20 minutes ago, and the day's already over. So if you guys have made it this far in the video, you guys will have to let me know if you like this style of video. With prep, I don't really want to miss anything. It's hard for me to pick certain days to vlog when I feel like eventful things happen every single day. So part of me just kind of wants to vlog like every single day and then just compile it at the end of the week. So if you guys have made it this far, you'll have to let me know if you like this style of video. If you guys are interested in online coaching or any of the services that I offer, then feel free to check those out in the description below. As always, I hope that this video, as well as my others, prompts some conversation or questions. So if you guys have any questions or things that you want to comment, then obviously feel free to leave them in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. If you're training today, then train hard. If you're resting today, then rest hard. And as always, guys, take care of yourselves.